particularly among the squatters along the edge of the city.
Kai wondered whether the gods in the household shrine were listening to their conversation and what they were thinking. He glanced at the shrine on the wall. Food offerings had been placed next to the joss sticks to placate the spirits of his ancestors and to ensure good luck. Kai approved. It was important to venerate the household gods, as they had more influence on the day-to-day affairs of life than the big gods. Any favors that could be cajoled from the big gods of Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism were simply a bonus.
"Pay attention," his father snapped. "Where does your mind go?"
"I was thinking about our gods, sir." His father grunted and leaned back in his chair. Nothing was said for a while, but the silence was relative. Kai could hear a cacophony of street noises coming from Nathan Road just outside. It was one of the busiest streets in Kowloon. His father broke the silence.
"I thought I would have to pay a drug addict for his son, so he could become my son and pray for my spirit when I'm dead. But then you were born." He sniffed. "Just be sure to fulfill your duty."
"Yes, sir." His father looked at him balefully and pointed a finger.
"I want you to diversify into high-end extortion and kidnapping. This is 1972, and there is more money in Hong Kong and more rich people now than there has ever been. They need to know of our reputation and fear us to such an extent that even a phone call with a threat will cause them to pay."
Kai wondered idly what the gods of the rich people would think about that. His father shouted,
"Do you understand?"
"Yes, sir."
"You must show an iron fist."
His father jabbed a finger at him again.
"You particularly must work hard at this because you look like an American. That makes it harder for Chinese people to respect you."
Kai knew he didn't have an ounce of American blood in him, but he didn't press the point. Kai could just see enough through the window slats to make out the top of a red and white double-decker bus burrowing its way along Nathan Road. Everyone seemed to be going somewhere. Kai, on the other hand, had no idea where he was going.
"You may go,"
barked his father, waving him away as if he were a bothersome insect. Kai bowed and left. He collected his own 2 bodyguards from the foyer and headed outside into the maze of narrow streets, shopping stalls, bars and nightlife that made up the district of Mong Kok. The 14K were active in this area, particularly in the brothels. However, he was not responsible for this region. As such, he did not know which areas were in dispute between the competing triad societies. He was away from his own area and was therefore vulnerable. The Sun Yi-on often waited for occasions such as this to spring an ambush. Kai grimaced. The curse of it was that he, with his European features, was easily recognizable. He glanced up at the ugly high-rises surrounding him. They had caged steel balconies perched on their side. Bamboo poles holding people's washing poked out from them. However, at the base of these buildings was another world. Market stalls spilled out from under untidy awnings along the laneways. Stalls with boxes of vegetables cluttered the alleys, barely leaving enough room for pedestrians to walk. It was a sea of colour. Scrappy billboards and posters were stuck on almost every vertical surface. Some of these were advertising Bruce Lee's latest film, Fist of Fury. The film star was very popular. Every triad fighter aspired to be like him. The business of Mong Kok was in full swing all around them. There was the hiss of cooking from the noodle stalls, steaming woks, and the clack of tiles being turned by the mahjong players sitting at tables. The devil beaters were also busy. If you paid them money, they would use a shoe to whack an image of your enemy drawn on a piece of paper. That enemy could either be a person or an evil spirit. Kai understood this to be serious business. Good fortune, particularly as it pertained to money and good health, was everyone's obsession in Hong Kong. Rich and poor alike consulted mediums and fortune-tellers when they needed to make a decision. They passed an alley leading to a brothel he knew was controlled by 14K. Squatting on the ground near its entrance was a small boy. Kai recognized